And welcome in, everyone, to another edition of the BIS podcast, broadcasting live on the Marvin Network, where our goal is to bring you updates in local government technology, and as always, we like to mix in a little bit of fun as well. On today's episode, we'll be going over monitoring and how monitoring prevents problems you never hear about. And we have none other than one of our very special guests that we always love having coming back to the podcast to talk IT in Vincent Villarreal. Vinny, how you doing, man?
Hey, Josh, I'm doing great. Awesome to be back on here and talk about what we can do to let clients know what we do as a company.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And on today's episode, Vinny, we're going to be going over monitoring. So when it comes to monitoring, Vinny, what does BIS offer with our monitoring service?
So number one, we monitor many different types of endpoints. We can do emails, antivirus, workstations, and servers as well. But really, it goes, a little further than that. Number one, we do 24/7 endpoint monitoring. So we're constantly getting alerts, even when you're asleep, if you're off any day. We're watching usually for sort of unusual activity or if there's any performance issues with your workstation or your server, right? We're watching every single thing to make sure that we can catch things early on if we see that certain hardware is failing, so that way we can replace it and keep you going. Or if we see any threat active and we can stop it at the source, that way there's minimal damage to anything.
And tell us, Vinny, when a threat does pop up, because as we know, they come up at kind of out of nowhere type of thing. When our monitoring service and where we pick up that, what's the immediate course of action to take from when you see a threat and then when our monitoring system picks it up? What's the course of action that we take?
Sure. So the first thing we do is we try to isolate the machine or whatever it is that's being targeted. Number one, we'll usually either call the client, or if things are busy or if they're not able to answer us, we'll usually take preventative action and isolate the machine. And what we mean by isolate is we try to take it off the network immediately. We can run some commands on our side to make sure that we isolate the virus or whatever got into that machine and that machine only, again, to prevent the spread. Then we can do a couple things. Number one, we identify what it is, whether, for example, if it is a virus, we try to run our aggressive scan so that way we can clear out any viruses automatically. But also, obviously, we try to see if we can jump onto the machine to see if it is a false positive, meaning our antivirus triggered something that it may have thought it was, but realistically it was just a pop-up or something like that, right? So in those cases, we want to just make sure it is false positive. But really, the main thing is isolate it, notify the client immediately, and try to let them know what we're doing, and then try to identify what the problem is, and then that's when we start the remediation process.
Awesome, Vinny. And kind of a big key point you hit there. Again, even if it's a false positive or something looks fishy and we catch it, we're always going to make sure that we reach out to the client to let them know that we're currently looking into it. But on the opposite side too as well, Vinny, we encourage our clients out there, if something, even if you think it's just a little bit fishy, always contact us no matter what, because we want to be safe rather than sorry.
Exactly. The main thing that we always tell clients as well is do not be afraid at all to contact us. Even if you think you're bothering us or something, even if it's just a small pop-up, please do not hesitate to call us, and that way we can jump on it. And maybe it is a false positive, but then that puts both of us at ease, because number one, we know that you trust us to do our job, and we know that we're trying to protect you, because the main thing is you don't want to be breached. You want to be prepared for that, right? Nobody wants to be breached. Nobody wants their files to be wiped and having to do backups and restores. We want to prevent that. So the main thing is we watch everything in the background as much as we can, so you don't have to. That's the main thing that we try to do.
Awesome, Vinny. In your opinion, what does BIS's monitoring service, how does it differ from other vendors in the industry, just in your opinion?
Well, I guess our monitoring service, number one, we have the connection with the client, right? Because everybody can have the monitoring out there. I mean, with AI running around, everyone can do performance monitoring, software monitoring, anything like that. I mean, we have a pretty robust system, but we're not the only ones, right? Really, the main thing I think that BIS stands out is just a connection with the clients, being able to be down to earth with them and have that trust and communication that they can always go with us without ever being talked down to or maybe belittled, right? As some tech companies do. We try to have that down to earth connection to make sure that they understand what we're doing, but also to assure them that they know they can trust us with what we're doing, right? We are professionals. So I think that's what makes us different from a lot of tech companies.
And I agree with you 100%, Vinny. I think a key point that Vinny hit right there is that we're down to earth people and we always put the client first. And that's what we're taught. No matter what position that you have here at BIS, we always put the customer first. And that is what has been passed down from Britton Brandon all the way down to us and employees at BIS. So that's one thing that when you have a service with BIS, you are always going to get that customer first line. So, Vinny, it's been great to hear from you, man. And always, it's a pleasure to have you on when we get to talk a little bit more about some IT stuff going on, especially, with monitoring and what we can do for people out there. Are there any final thoughts that you have before we sign it off today?
So I guess I just want to say, if you're a business owner and you're not actively monitoring any type of endpoints, your servers, your workstations, printers, anything, I'm just going to say it bluntly, you're flying blind right now. All right. Cyber threats aren't slowing down. And with the increase of AI, they're actually catching up, and they're being very, very high because AI basically, how it makes you to be able to write your Word document, your Excel document easier to write, it makes hackers easier to identify things that they can enter in, right? So that's the main thing with AI. And because it's ramping up, the cost of a breach, I'll be honest, far outweighs the cost of a proper monitoring system. I can 100% tell you that. We're here to offer that layer of protection. So basically, we can keep your business running without you having to be worried about being breached. So I just want to basically say that we take that very seriously, and we want to make sure that y'all are in good standing with monitoring and security.
And again, everyone at BIS, especially the IT team and Vinny and the guys, are wonderful and excellent at their jobs of monitoring our client systems that we have our monitoring service with and making sure that everyone is up to date and that we are closely monitoring any potential threats. And again, if you don't have current IT services with BIS, for anybody out there, for organizations out there, feel free to give us a call. We can definitely talk about it. Again, our number is 800-247-9045. And you can also email us at sales@BISconsultants.com. Vinny, I really do appreciate you joining me here today, man, and going over monitoring systems. And always a pleasure to have you on. I know you're a very busy guy. You're always in the thick of things, monitoring stuff for our clients. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us.
Hey, not a problem, Josh. I'll be happy to join on anytime you need me.
Awesome as always, Vinny, and we can't wait to have you back on. And that's going to wrap us up for another edition of the BIS podcast. We've been broadcasting live here on the Marvin Network. And again, thank you so much, Vinny, for joining us today. For Vincent Villarreal, I'm Josh Green, saying until next time, so long and goodbye.